Hi guys. Right, so welcome to my movie review on John Wick Chapter 2. I'm going to see John Wick Chapter 4 tonight. Also going to be the first one that's on in cinema. John Wick Chapter 4, not this one. I didn't see this in cinema. Unfortunately, I do remember when this one came out and I was like, oh, I'll go see it, and then I didn't get around to it, but I saw it on Blu-ray. I've seen this one 2 or 3 times, rewatched it recently to get it fresh in my mind, you know. And yeah, let's get fucking into it, right? John Wick Chapter 2. So the plot of John Wick Chapter 2 is John Wick is back. The end. Anyway, no, seriously though, John Wick is back. Like, it's pretty much takes place right after the first one, or not long after, because he still has the dog, but the dog is obviously grown because this came out a few years later. But movie wise, it takes place after the first one, and essentially movie opens up with a fucking badass cold opening that goes on for, I'd say, at least 15 minutes or 10 minutes or something, I don't know. He's like fucking up all these bad guys and killing these fucking gangsters, these thugs, because his car is still stolen and he's still trying to get it back. But the gangsters and thugs that he's killing are actually working for the guy that is related to the villain from the first movie, which I didn't know that actor actually passed away, the villain from the first movie, rest in peace. But the villain is the guy's brother. He's like, he killed my brother, you know. He's talking to the guy, and you know, he's talking about how my nephew killed a dog and stole a car. Pretty much recap the first one. And John Wick is fucking people up left and right, making people flip over bikes, killing them. He gets hit by a fucking car in the leg, kills a bunch of people, kills a guy, gets his car back, calls a truce with the villain with this little coin thing, drives off. We get the opening credits, which are great. It pops up John Wick Chapter 2. What a way to start a fucking movie. So John Wick wants to go back into retirement because he wants to grieve over his wife's death, and doesn't really want all of that life, because they find out, oh, it's all over a fucking puppy. That's what people say. So he goes back to the house with the dog, feeds it, stitches himself up, and then does the opposite that he did in the first movie. He literally pours cement and shit over the fucking ground, and by doing that puts all his weapons away. But he ends up getting a visit from this guy, this actor who I honestly thought was the actor that was in Violent Night, but it's not him. This actor comes, and the actor knows John and basically is talking to him, showing him the coins, basically trying to talk about maybe trying to make him reconsider getting out of the assassin, going back into the assassin life, and you know, talking about how his wife is dead and stuff. Oh, sorry for your loss. But then he's like, oh, it's going to have serious repercussions and all that. He's like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. Pets the dog, goes off. He's just doing his own thing in his house. The guy goes outside and shoots a grenade at John Wick's house. Shoots a bunch of grenades, blowing the place up. Luckily, the dog survives this time. John Wick goes off. John Wick survives as well, goes off or whatever. And we were revealed that that guy is the main villain of the movie. So Jimmy comes back as a cop. I believe he's played by a different actor though. And also just before that, we have a daytime scene with John Leguizamo's character coming back. John Wick drives his car back, and John Leguizamo's like, yeah, I don't know if I can fix that. He's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I can fix that. I'll have it to you by Christmas. That's so. It was nice that he had a small little role in this. He's not in the third one. Don't know if he's in the fourth one. So, but yeah, essentially, he's like, evening, Jimmy. He's like, gas leak, John. He's like, gas leak, Jimmy. They go off. Whatever. Fire brigade comes. He goes off. He doesn't actually get his guns out. Him and the dog walk all the way to New York City. And he ends up going back to the hotel from the first one and sees Lance Riddick's character, because that's where the whole organization is, and he's like, I need to see the boss, the manager. He's like, hello Mr. Wick, welcome back. He's like, yes. And he goes, is the boss in? He's like, he's always in, sir. And he goes down and ends up talking to Ian McShane's character, saying that it's going to have serious repercussions. You gotta sort this out. This guy's dangerous. Just try to be careful, break the rules. And he ends up going to see this guy and all that stuff. And we're cutting back and forth between the villains and stuff and John Wick, and then the villain ends up going to John Wick, and John Wick kind of confronts him. Why'd you blow up my house? Blah blah blah. So I told you it'll have repercussions, and he goes, I need you to do something for me. I need you to kill my sister. She's doing all this sort of crazy shit. She'd be at this place. And essentially, there's other assassins after John Wick. There's this deaf girl. There's this actress right here. And she goes after him. And then he goes to this place, gets in the suit, whatever. Goes to get the suit. Goes to this place to get more guns. This guy shows him a map, and they inspect different coins, and he's trading in coins and bringing them to different places. And he ends up coming across the British guy from Shaun of the Dead and Guardians of the Galaxy, and he helps him load up with all the guns and shit. As an assassin, walks out, and he get the badass music playing. Jeez, only 6 minutes in, fucking hell. And then he gets Lance Reddick's character to mind the dog. Lance Reddick I think talks to Ian McShane, and other people look for John Wick and all this other shit. So you'll have to wait here or whatever. And then essentially, a lot of a good chunk of the first half is mainly dialogue scenes. It's mainly scenes of him sitting down doing different things or whatever. So it takes actually a bit to get into the action, but once it gets going, it gets fucking going. So then he fucking he goes to the concert, shoots all the fucking, get a great shootout scene. After he goes and visits the woman, they talk. She knows he has to kill her, that he's there to kill her. She cuts her wrists, quite graphically actually. She dies in the pool. He shoots her in the head. Comes across the security guard. They fights a bunch of the bad guys, fights other terrorists, and then from then on out, a lot of the movie is basically him shooting a bunch of people, in different places, different countries, I believe as well. I believe Italy. They also because he keeps going grazie to people, and then they have a truce with other people, and then there's a bunch of people that are shooting at him, and then eventually an open contract. You see the villain do other things, and then an open contract is on his head way later on in the movie, and that he will be excommunicado in a couple of days or whatever or something. But you see him just continue killing bad guys and shit, and everyone, you see all these different motherfuckers that look like normal people going around as writing people, going around they're pretty much fucking terrorists. Not terrorists, but assassins, not fucking terrorists, sorry. So he'll be there fighting people in a fucking train station, he'll be fighting a bunch of other people, but he's not allowed to kill the main villain, the Gordy guy, because he'd be breaking the rules, and if he does that, it's gonna cause everyone to come after him, which is fucking holy shit. That's what sets up the next film. But he eventually gets help from Lawrence Fishburne in this movie, who is a great character, who likes pigeons a lot, and is kind of reluctant to help him at first, but ends up helping him, getting them guns, goes back to, stops the bad guys, blah, 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 goes back to Lance Reddick, gives him the dog back, and they go off in the end. Eventually he does kill the villain, and Ian McShane's like, what have you done? He doesn't kill all the villains, he does knock the girl out, he's like, or fuck her up a little bit, he goes, be seeing you, not if I see you first. And it saves the day to go off, and then at the very end of the film, Ian McShane says, John Wick excommunicado in effect in an hour. So he's running near the end with his dog. Goes out, and pretty much what ends up happening then is what you'd really expect to happen. He basically ends up, everyone sees who he is, and he's running away, and essentially every single assassin in America is wanting to kill him, and because it hits on his head, and that ends on a cliffhanger that leads into John Wick Chapter 3, which is also an awesome sequel. And yeah, that's the movie in a nutshell. It's the plot in a nutshell. It's the summary version. You know, I'm going to go into detail. This review is probably going to be ages. It's going to be a very long review, but who gives a shit? So, what do I think of it? First of all, this movie's fucking awesome. I'd honestly say that this... I don't know. This is hard because there's a part of me that's like, this is better than the first one. There's a part of me that's like, not the first is better. No, but this review sums it up perfectly. Bigger, better, and bloodier. It is fucking really gory, and I love it. The guns and the action is topped. The long shot takes are great. So, like, let's get into it. First of all, I'm gonna talk about the opening scene, because even the first one, you know, didn't have an opening scene like this one does. Holy fucking shit. So first off, right, I'm gonna just describe the entire opening, because the entire opening alone is amazing. It's a cold opening, and it's such a great way to start off a fucking movie. You know, and it's just... I'd almost say that it should have got an Oscar, because it's great action at the start of it. So basically, you get a great shot of the city and the music, and the shots just there zooming in. It's another bird's eye view of the shot, very colourful. And then you have this building that's projecting, like, of a screen of a guy on a bike going crash, like from an old black and white movie. And then it cuts down, and then you see an assassin, a villain, on a bike crashing and falling. It's like, no, and then you get a fucking badass fucking car chase scene at the start of this film. Fucking badass. It's like, oh shit, and then John Wick's over like, no. He gets down, and then fucking John Wick kills this motherfucker, whatever. And then he gets in the car, he's driving like, and they're like, oh shit, in this car, like, fucking people up. And then, like, the car's kind of moving that way, and then John Wick's there, fucking people up left and right, and it's people fucking shooting people, and it's just fucking loads of fucking, you know, bullets and shit going around. And then the cinematography and the editing is just fucking amazing. And they don't even show John Wick straight away. They leave the mystery up there. They show him because he is still known as the Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. So I love that whole aspect. They're like, oh shit, fucking blood everywhere, and fucking crashing, and then it's cut into the action, and you're like, oh shit, you know. And you've all the colours and visual effects of the city, beautiful cinematography, and there's people falling over. Then you go into another car scene, like, oh god, and there's a guy in a taxi, and then opens the door, and then fucking door comes off, and then smashes on the ground, and you're like, holy shit. But that's when they get into, like, the whole car warehouse place, this place right here. And that's like, it's just like, and then while this is happening, like, oh shit, what's going on? And you get the villain, not the villain, the kind of opening villain. This the movie, not the main villain, but the villain that's at the start of the film. And he's played by that actor. I don't know the actor's name, but he's been in loads of movies. He seems to have a thing for being in number twos to action films, because he's like the villain in Bad Boys 2. He's the villain in 22 Jump Street. He's the villain in... Well, he's not the villain in this, but he's at the start of this one. And then, you have... whatchamacallit? You have fucking... he's also in movies like Awakenings and The Big Lebowski, and I believe some of the Transformers films. I know he's in... Could be in Con Air. I know he's in Armageddon, but I think he's briefly in Don't Look Up. I could be wrong about that. So he's in it. He's like, this is terrible. He's like talking in, and the subtitles popping up again in the way they did in the first one. He's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, get in here. He's like, this is a problem. Whose car is it that we steal? The car that we stole is John Wick's fucking car. and it's a great, and you just see it cuts back and forth. He's like, you know, he's like left the assassin life when his wife passed away, and he killed, you know, and it's all over at that. It's like all over a fucking puppy. He's like, yes, and then he goes, my nephew killed his dog, stole a car, and then John Wick killed him, and he killed my fucking brother, and all that. It's like, yeah. And then you get just this amazing open dialogue. It's like, yeah, he's out here, and then it's cut, but between him talking and the shots, close-ups, and the kind of transition between back and forth talking, like, oh yeah, it's great, it's awesome. But like, you also get, not only do you get that, but you get like scenes of him, and he was doing crazy shit, and scenes of John Wick fucking like just killing people left and right, you know. And he's there, like, there's guys in warehouses, and he's just there, like, pushes them down the fucking stairs, and grabs one, puts the guy's smoking, he grabs him, puts a cigarette in his mouth, chokes him, and stabs him, slits the throat of him, and he's like, fucking, no, he's there, taking him out like an assassin. He's like, he's there, they call him the boogeyman, Baba Yaga. It's like, yeah, I once seen them kill 3 guys with a pencil. I thought you told me this before, and it's great, because we as an audience know that, but the way they say that is such a smart part. He's grabbing people in the back and cracking their fucking necks, and he's like John Wick, and he just walks out, and the reveal is just fucking awesome. It's like, yeah. And then, you know, from then on out, we just get this amazing fucking action scene, and like, then, you know, you cut to a warehouse, like, yeah, whatever. It's like, what are we doing? This is ready. We get the cars ready. And then the guy comes out, it's like, is everything here ready? He's like, yeah, it is. And there's people like we gotta get him, kill John Wick, whatever. And they're there like working on cars, whatever, doing gangster things. They're going, come, okay, let's go. They're going into this place, talking in different languages. Great shots of them walking in. They get guns, you know. And right away, or not even guns, like they're just walking. And then, as I said, this opening scene, it goes on for ages, but it's fucking awesome. Awesome fucking opening. They're there in the warehouse, like, wait, what's that? And then John Wick comes in, and they're like, oh, and they're fucking shooting, and they're driving and shit, like, oh shit, and all that, and they're like, oh, and then John Wick is driving the car, the people are driving his car, like, oh shit, and then the crashes, like, and all that, and then John Wick's running, and then fucking people up left and right, like, oh shit, running. Then he's running through the city, and the car comes and hits him in the legs, like, oh fuck, or not even through the leg, like, is it in the city? Or no, he goes in the warehouse, he's, you know, the fucking fight choreography is great, and it's even better than the first one. It's even improved, like, the choreography. He's like, come on, he's like, he's stabbing, people, hitting them, punching them. He's like, come on, he's like, fuck you, and all that. He's hitting them, and he's on the ground, oh god, he's hitting them and fucking hitting them, and god, stabbing them and slitting their fucking throats like blood. And you get this great opening, and they're like, and he's like fucking hitting them left and right, killing them and all. And one guy comes over, drives the taxi, like, oh, hits him in the leg, fuck, come on, he's there fucking fighting left and right. And then of course you have another great car chase, like, oh shit, there's a guy on a motorbike, and he fucking hits the door, and he falls off, and he's like, oh, the taxi. And they're like, oh shit, and he's just there killing them. And then even like when the car just comes in and through the fucking the warehouse or whatever, crashes, and like the other thing, it like gets dented, but the crash is also from the first one as well, but crashes, like, oh shit, you know, he's like, oh, he's just grabbing them and hits them and fighting them. And then, you know, he's fucking people up left and right, and there's people coming out everywhere, and there's all these long shots, like, oh god, and there's awesome fucking non-stop action at the beginning, and it's just such a great way to start a movie. All the cinematography, and you're like, holy shit, like, it's instantly adrenaline rush, like, and it's like, holy shit, already more action at the start. And he's there like stabbing fucking people, hitting them, and then and all that. And then he's fighting people, like, and then he's getting fucked up, like, oh, and he's struggling, he's fucking people up left and right, punching them, whatever, fucking them up. Awesome fucking sequence. And then there's a guy, like, he's like, come on, and he's fighting, and he's hitting him, And the guy's fucking them up, and it's this scene here. I was like, come on, he's there fucking them up left and right, and they're hitting each other. And he's like, he's on the ground, and John Wick just pulls out a gun, shoots him in the fucking legs. Blood goes everywhere. And he's like, blood fucking shooting people like that. He's like, and they're like, fucking, they're shooting, and fucking blood going everywhere, and the fucking long shots, and there's fucking loads of goons coming out, and they're like, and he's like, and they're pulling out guns like. The great long shots and same kind of wide angle takes as the first one are there, and he's there. You know, that goes on for a while. He's shooting more and more people. Goes they're shooting a bunch of fuckers. Driving's like, come on, let's go. And then eventually, I think that leads to another car chase. He steals his car back, driving or whatever, and then there's motorcycle people after him. Opens the car door, they flip over, they're fucking people up left and right. Crashes his car into something, gets out, pew pew pew, shoots them all. Then he's like, and then it's cutting back and forth between the guys talking. It's like, really? It's like all over a fucking puppy. It's like, yeah. Then I believe he comes in. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And then shoots the guy. It's like, and then you get to this amazing scene that does kind of set up future installments, but we don't see this character again. We don't see him in John Wick 3. As I said, at the time of recording this, I have not seen John Wick 4. There's a possibility you might actually see my John Wick 4 review before my John Wick 3 review. So, yeah. Also should mention that Warner Brothers done this one as well. Lionsgate done the next one, and the new one. The Summit part is part of this, and that fucking roller coaster company as well. And then he's, pointing the gun at the guy. He's like, what did you do, John? He's like, you seriously want to kill me? He's like, yeah, you killed my nephew, you killed my, father's like, yeah, well, it was like just a fucking dog. Well, that dog meant a lot to me. That fucking dog meant a lot to me. He's like, sorry to hear about your wife. He's like, it's fine. He's like, your wife wouldn't be proud, you wouldn't know that. And then eventually he's like, flips the coin, shows it there. Even like, later on, like, even earlier on, he's like, pulls the thing out, he's like, shows it. See the coin, whatever, see the thing, or maybe it's later on, I don't know. It's like gold, it's almost like a golden ticket, it's a weird looking thing, but it's really cool. And so you got that, and the guy's like, truce, he's like, truce, like, I won't come after you. He's like, you sure about this? Yes, I'm going back into retirement. So he hits the thing, pours a drink, truce, he's like, yeah, truce, be seeing you. They have the truce to drink, he walks off, it's a fucking badass, get a shot, over the head shot of him in his car, gets in his car, drives off, and then you just get the Summit Presents, and just a fucking great intro. It's like, damn, the first movie, the title just pops up, this one is like, holy shit, what a way to open a fucking movie. I remember when this one came out. I do remember when this one came out. That was the kind of introduction. It was like, that was how I heard about John Wick and how amazing the first one was, and that's what made me watch it. And then eventually I got this Blu-ray for my birthday of 2017. Watched it then I rewatched it the other night. It's fucking awesome. Fully loaded with unseen extras, yeah. Yeah, so that was fucking great. And then you get the intro, which is like, and it's all like CGI guns and like the fucking like coin popping up and all these other kind of different things with the cast and everything, all the CGI intro. Then it comes up John Wick Chapter 2, and the music is, it's beautiful. Great music in the film. So, then the setup at the beginning does feel kind of similar to the first one, but it's not the same movie. You show John Wick is driving, and then he's opening up the garage, and the car is driving in and stuff. Gets out, he's like, yeah, good dog. And the thing is, by the way, his dog is with him as well. Like, his dog is in the car, like, running through or whatever. I don't think his dog jumps up and bites someone. I can't remember. But so you get all that. And he gets out, he's like, come on, let's go. And he's in there, and he's walking through the house, and he's like, whoa, wow. And then we get the very brief return of John Leguizamo's character, which was nice to see him. I don't know if the reason he wasn't in the third and fourth, I don't know if he's in the fourth one, but I think it could also just be due to the fucking diversity. like the cast not being diverse enough. I'm sorry, that comment he made on the Mario movie is fucking stupid. I'm gonna get into that in another video because, I'm just whatever. But yeah, car drives up. He's like, "Hey, John, how are you?" He's like, "Hey, how are you?" It's like, "You done that?" He shot people up. He's like, "Yeah, I might need you to fix my car." And all that's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Jesus fucking Christ, John, what do you do to this thing?" It's just a great scene. It's like, "Yeah, you damaged everything. So here, you damaged the bonnet, you damaged the back, the front, all the wheels, everything." And he's like, "Yeah, I know, it's bad and all that." He's like, "Yeah, no shit." And he's like, "So do you think?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know, John." He's like, "Yeah, I think I could fix this." He's like, "Yeah, well, you have it done." "Yeah, get a polish, fix it up. Great. You doing good?" "Yes." "Are you retiring now?" I was like, "Oh, yes, I am." And then he's like, "Okay, I'll have it to you by Christmas." "Okay, see you." It's like, "See you later." So you get that great moment, and you get scenes with the villains like, "Oh yeah, that's great." Got to go do this. Like, "Yeah, sure, okay," and it goes off. And then, you know, I think he comes home that night. Is it day or night he comes home at? And then yeah, he comes home at night, I believe, and then he wakes up the next day like, oh, goes home, goes out. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. And I even like when he's walking through the hallway and shit, and like, his house is still really nice, and you got the fucking kind of rain and stuff, and he's the dog there, and he's feeding his dog. He's like, good dog, good boy. And I like that they didn't kill the dog off, the one that he got at the end of the first one, and that dog is in this one like for nearly the whole film. And same with is it the in the third one he's there. Um, yeah. So I love that aspect of it. So he's there like, "Yo, good dog," and he's there sitting down, and he wakes up or whatever. He's looking at photos of his wife again. Here, "What are you doing, John?" Looking at videos. "What are you doing, John?" And then even getting flashbacks to when he was in the hotel room on the first one. Archival footage. Like, "What are you doing, John?" Looking at the videos of his wife, and there's a great moment, like a kind of role reversal. He opens up the basement, goes down. The dog is there. He's just putting all the guns away, and he's like putting like tarmac, and he's going, just putting cement on it, and just going bam, bam, bam. There, and he's just petting it up and shit, because he's like, "Look, I'm done." Goes up, drinks the thing. You do like that scene. You're like, "Fuck, he really is done with this life," or so we think. Um, but obviously, because he's leaving and because of everything he done in the first movie and the start of this one, it all has consequences, and the motherfucker doesn't get a break. It's just, I thought the villain. Now, I do agree with Rambo for Life. I do prefer the villain in the first movie, but I think that the villain in this one is still great. Um, you know, Still very menacing. I actually rewatched John Wick 3 last night, and I forgot that the villain's corpse actually has an appearance in it, so I forgot. But yeah. So, but like, where do I begin? Like, as I said, just the fucking that whole opening scene is great. The whole, opening action scene, the music, the villain John fucking Wick. The cars crashing, the use of practical effects, the relationship with his dog, the funny dialogue between him and John Leguizamo is just really well done. And you just see him going around in the house doing other things, kind of what he did in the first one, But like, just everything in this fucking film, like the action is great, and the dialogue and slower scenes are great as well. Um, you know, but like, let's get into the fucking. I'll get back to that one scene later, but I want to get into some more of the action scenes, because the action in this film is unbelievable, and it tops the action in the first one. You're like, how does it top it? And it seems like every John Wick movie tops the action, because I'm like, how do you top the action in the first one? This one does that. How do you top the action in this one? Number 3 does that, and apparently number 4 tops the action in number 3, which I'm like, damn. But yeah. So like, I was gonna say something there. One of my favorite scenes is like, oh, where are you gonna go? It's like, gotta go to this concert place. It's like, okay, let's go. You know, he goes there. He's like, this is where it is, and he goes, and you go like this is kind of like a replacement for like the nightclub scene. This is like the in the first one. This is for the um concert scene, and the concert scene is fucking amazing. It's fucking awesome, honestly. He's there like, oh, there's people there like, oh yeah, yeah, singing, and there's just people like playing violins with a bow, and there's a great shot. And I think even Alicia Keys has like a cameo briefly. There's people like, yeah, yeah, and the people like, come on, this way, this way. He's like, this way, mistress. And the woman he's meant to kill comes out, and she's like, oh yeah, yeah. He's like, this way. He's like, you ready to go this way? Yes, I'd like to be here. Like, oh yeah, it's great. It's like, come on, let's go. It's like, they're walking through. Okay, you go in here. It's like, go in here. It's fine. It's like, okay. They're walking through. It's like, get yourself done. Okay, I'm doing this. I'm getting myself done. It's like, okay, you can need me. I'll be out here. That's what security guard says, or something like that. Goes in, getting herself done up. John Wick's walking in or whatever. He's like, yeah, kind of walking past. He's looking at people. People are kind of looking at him, and he's like, yeah, okay, okay. He's walking through. You know, the concert's like, yeah, let's go. And it's in this kind of like old kind of fancy building place. It's probably a well-known place. I think you see him goes on a plane or something, or a boat or something to this place. He goes, you know, and he walks, and you get to this fucking badass scene. It's one of my favourite action scenes in the film, actually. It's the one that always stands out whenever I think of this movie. I always think of that one, this particular scene. And the action doesn't start straight away, but the build up is great. It's like, yeah, you were here and all that, and he's kind of looking at people. And then he walks in, whatever, and he's there like walking in. He's like, okay, cool, you know, and you see the coins and shit, and he walks in, and I don't know if the main villain appears. I can't remember. I think he does. I think he's briefly like, oh yeah, whatever, but I don't think he does appear at that point. But coming back to the film, you have the woman there. She's doing whatever she is, like, yeah, doing whatever, and she's like, hello, John. And it's like, hello, how are you? It's like, what? I don't know why you're here, John. It's like, yeah, it's like been a long time. It's like, yeah, it has. So it's like, Jesus, once again, like the first one, everyone knows John Wick. Everyone knows John fucking Wick. I know what time it is. I just want to check my phone, see if I got any. Chris Pratt has requested to follow me. Obviously not the real Chris Pratt. The fuck. Anyway. Oh shit, 1 second. Oh, my boy Sterling just messaged me. Holy shit. I'd say this is a voice message. Which I'll listen to later. Sorry guys, 1 second. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I have a special video coming out, just to let you guys know. So I will have an advanced sort of thing. Anyway. I have a funny idea. So anyway, for a video. Oh, it's Tony Soprano. It's kind of cool. Anyway, basically, 1 sec.